Will AI romance become the new norm in love affairs?
Are we straying away from conventional human connections for programmed responses?
It's a possibility, Yun. Human emotions are complex, and being able to find love or companionship in an entity that technically doesn't have feelings might seem unconventional now.
Yes, indeed. It's like a whole paradigm shift. A world where one doesn't have to worry about the emotional baggage, no fears of rejections, no awkward confrontations.
Exactly. It seems easy, and that's what makes it terrifying. Is it then about forgetting the human touch or finding an easy way out?
Perhaps it's about convenience, Gerardo. We are, after all, living in a world ruled by technology. But it's also about seeking something different. A connection that traditional human relationships may not be able to provide.
Could be, Yun. It opens a whole new spectrum of questions, fears, and throughout this podcast, we intend to explore them all. But the underlying concern remains: will these AI relationships degrade the value of human interactions? What's driving the surge in AI relationships, Yun?
Great question, Gerardo. It's a complex mix, including loneliness, convenience, and the progressive nerve of society. We're increasingly reliant on technology for daily tasks. Our emotional needs are catching up.
There's also a layer of adventurousness, not in the traditional sense of trekking through unexplored jungles, but it's novel. Choosing AI companionship defies societal norms. It feels like a rebellious act, don't you think?
Certainly, that's part of the appeal, too. There's significant growth in the acceptance of AI relationships. As a society, we're becoming more comfortable with the unconventional. But companionship from AI? It is startling at first.
So we've seen a rise in this trend over the last decade, but do we have any numbers?
Over the past few years, numerous studies, though their validity is challenged, suggest a prominent rise. A Japanese company's report claimed they've married off over 3,700 AI and humans.
Well, if that's not indicative of the trend.
It's mind-boggling yet intriguing. Technology's progressing at an unparalleled pace. The rise of AI relationships is just a reflection of that. Isn't it curious, Gerardo, that the demographics embracing AI relationships are truly a mixed bag?
Do tell, Yun.
Well, the assumption might be that this is predominantly a younger generation trend, given their ease with technology. But we know it's not that straightforward, don't we?
Exactly. There's an entire spectrum involved, each with their own reasons. The lonely, the adventurous, the rebels.
Absolutely. We have older adults seeking companionship without the complexities of human relationships. The digital natives who've grown with tech ubiquity find it a natural transition. Even those with social anxieties find comfort in the predictable parameters of an AI companion.
It's a fascinating kaleidoscope of human emotion, and brings us to a contentious question: is AI love a trend or the new normal?
Well, it's hard to say, isn't it? Trends are inherently transient, they come and go. But we've seen this growth, this shift over a decade. It seems to be more than a mere trend.
Particularly with the pace of technological advancements, I wonder if soon we'll see AI relationships exhibiting an evolution of their own.
Intriguing, Gerardo. Do you mean AI developing more intricate emotional capacities, or society adapting to accommodate AI relations further?
Perhaps both, Yun. It ties gracefully into the age-old debate. Does society shape technology or vice versa? But here's a wild thought. Could we see a future where human-to-human relationships are the unconventional?
Whoa, that's a thought that could send sparks flying. However, it does make one ponder about the universal understanding of love and companionship we've held on to so long.
Now, let's dive into the meaty question. What impact are AI relationships having on our traditional dynamics of human connections?
Indeed, Gerardo. We've seen that connection within a societal context undergo drastic changes as AI relationships become integrated.
That's a good point, Yun. One could speculate that the dynamics of real human interactions could be pushed to the sidelines. I'd like to think that friendships, intimate relationships, play an immense role in shaping our life experiences, fostering a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world, no?
You're right, Gerardo. And the complexities that come with human relationships, they surely shape our emotional resilience. I wonder if AI relationships could ever provide those aspects.
It seems these AI companions offer a trouble-free, tailored experience based on programmed emotional responses. Do you suppose it's our fear of vulnerability that's fueling the appeal?
Might be, Gerardo. A relationship without fear of rejection, without emotional conflicts might seem enticing, but at what cost?
Today we're lucky to have with us expert psychologist Dr. Adrienne Gibson. Dr. Gibson's work extensively covers the impact of technology on human interaction dynamics. Welcome.
Hello, Gerardo and Yun. It's a pleasure to be here. I've been following your conversation and have to say you've touched upon some very pertinent issues.
Great to have you, Dr. Gibson. Could you share your views on how AI love affairs impact traditional human connections?
Sure, Gerardo. When we think about relationships, we tend to think in terms of emotional exchanges. But with AI, those exchanges are simulated. There's no risk, no unpredictability. This might make people feel safe, comfortable, but there's a downside.
Unpredictability, you emphasize. Would you say that's an essential component in human relationships?
Yes, Yun. The unpredictability can lead to complexities, challenges, but also growth and resilience. Emotions aren't linear. They're complex, nuanced, and shaped by a multitude of factors. AI relationships, while providing comfort, risks the reduction of these subtleties to predictable programmed responses.
Do we risk becoming stagnant individually and as a society, avoiding those rough emotional terrains?
There's potential for that, Gerardo. Steering away from hardships doesn't allow for the same emotional development. Conversely, it creates an unrealistic expectation of how relationships function.
Your insights are truly enlightening, Dr. Gibson. We will certainly delve further into this area in our upcoming segments.
Dr. Gibson, could AI relationships mimic the stages of traditional relationships?
Interesting point, Gerardo. We identify stages in a conventional relationship: attraction, building, continuation, deterioration, and ending. AI relationships could simulate these stages, but it's important to note, they are programmed, predictable run-throughs of these stages without the natural ebb and flow we experience in a human-to-human venture.
But some might argue the predictability offers a sense of security.
She has a point, doesn't she? We crave security, predictability in all forms, not just in love.
Yes, but it comes down to how much we value authenticity and connection. Can a programmed response truly satisfy, or rather substitute, an organic human interaction?
So what you're saying is, while AI relationships may temporarily appease our emotional needs, they aren't a sustainable replacement for the warmth of a human connection.
Indeed, Yun. AI's predictability and security might feel comforting but could be a double-edged sword. It could prevent us from experiencing the genuine joys and sorrows of human relationships.
Which lead us to the question, are we willing to trade the richness, the intricacies of human connections for an engineered version of love?
And that's a question we must all ponder on as we tread into this new era of AI relationships.
Yun, isn't it remarkable how we've seen society's position on AI relationships shift?
Admittedly, there has been quite a change, Gerardo. Initially, the concept of AI relationships was met with skepticism.
Definitely. Skepticism rooted in fear of the unknown, perhaps?
Unfortunately, yes. Fear often stems from a lack of understanding and the misconceptions this can lead to. With AI relationships, people had questions, lots of them. How do these work? Would they affect human relationships? Could one really form an emotional connection to an AI?
And as technology cleared these doubts, do you think we started seeing a shift in attitudes?
Yes, though I think it wasn't just the technological advancements. We must recognize the influence of popular culture and social media on shaping societal perspectives. AI relationships became themes in movies, series, and books. This kind of normalized them, reduced the fear. Don't you think so?
Interesting point, Yun. As more of these narratives surfaced, society could broaden its understanding, move beyond viewing AI relationships as a threat to our conventional ways of love, so to say.
Exactly. And as with any change, adaptation also plays its part. With time, we've also seen society adjust and adapt to this shift in what love can look like. Although not everyone is there yet, acceptance is slowly brewing.
So, from skepticism to curiosity, then understanding, and now a gradually growing acceptance. Quite a journey for societal perception, isn't it?
Indeed. But there's still a lot to explore, a lot to understand. We shouldn't forget, Gerardo, that just because acceptance is growing doesn't mean the dialogue should stop. It's only through discussions like these we can tackle misconceptions and apprehensions that might still exist.
Yun, do you think the acceptance of AI relationships varies from culture to culture?
Interesting question, Gerardo. Yes, cultural differences indeed seem to play a role. Let me put forward an example. Japan, a country known for its technological advancements, has also shown increasing acceptance of AI relationships. In fact, there have been reported cases of individuals marrying their AI partners.
Does this acceptance herald a broader shift in society?
Possibly. As humans, we shape and are shaped by the cultures we're part of. If certain societies start accepting, it could influence others. However, each culture also has its particular social norms and standards which can affect the rate and level of acceptance.
Indeed, various factors are at play. Like how the Western world places emphasis on personal fulfillment, individualism, and stresses the need for emotional connectivity. Does this dynamic influence the degree of acceptance?
Well, in such societies, there could be a greater inclination towards AI relationships if they cater to these need for emotional connectivity. We can't forget, however, that personal fulfillment and individualism are not the exclusive preserve of any one culture. You'll find these traits across the globe in varying degrees.
And what about cultures valuing collective well-being, like those in the East? Could they have conflicting stances on individual desires versus societal expectations?
Certainly. Societies where collective well-being and shared values underpin social norms might find AI relationships more challenging to accept. But here's something interesting, Gerardo. These societies are not impervious to change, right? There's always a possibility that with time and exposure, they may also adapt to AI relationships.
Fascinating. It is indeed a complex interplay of societal norms, technology, and individual needs. I guess only time will tell how firmly AI relationships will be ingrained in our societies. Are we heading towards digital companions being on par with real-life human interactions?
That thought breeds a multitude of questions, doesn't it?
Yes, like, is an AI capable of understanding and reciprocating our emotions?
At the end of the day, the nature of AI will dictate their capacity.
As we know, AI partners are coded to replicate emotions, but can they actually feel these emotions?
From a technical standpoint, AI don't feel emotions in the way humans do as they lack biological processes. However, they can be programmed to understand human emotions, to react to them, and create an illusion of empathy.
So, the AI is merely mimicking empathy. But does that mimicry suffice to satisfy our need for emotional connectivity?
Whether it suffices or not, Gerardo, depends on the individual. For some, the perceived emotional support from an AI might be enough. However, that doesn't necessarily mean it's equivalent to the emotional depth of a human relationship.
And what becomes of genuine human empathy in this high-tech era? Can AI mimicking sympathy and understanding really replace the comfort of a human touch, a sincerely empathetic word, or even a shoulder to lean on?
These are critical considerations. By directing our heartfelt sentiments to AI, we might risk dampening our innate ability to empathize with others. Our humanity is embedded in our emotions, and it's crucial we don't lose that.
Certainly, the question isn't just about whether AI can provide equivalent emotional support, but also how our interaction with them influences our own emotional processes.
As with all things in life, Gerardo, balance is essential. Technology should act as a tool, enhancing our lives, rather than dominating it. So, even as AI evolves, it remains important to maintain authentic human connections.
Yun, one aspect that sticks out in these AI relationships, for me, is trust. Can we truly place our faith in something that is essentially programmed?
It's an intriguing question, Gerardo. We're talking about technology that's designed to learn from us, to adapt to us. But unlike human relationships, there's less unpredictability. It's, in a way, managing a set of codes.
And that's exactly what it boils down to, isn't it? What differentiates our connectivity with humans versus AI is that unpredictability, that capriciousness of human nature, which AI may never replicate.
I think it also raises questions about true faith. Can we claim to have faith in an entity that lacks the capability of independent thoughts or actions? Is it faith, or is it more of a trust in the programming?
Makes you wonder, if the line between faith and predictability blurs, will that gradually impact our ability to trust in real-life relationships? I mean, I, for one, struggle with the idea of placing my emotional well-being in the hands of a programmable entity.
I share your concern, Gerardo. But at the same time, it's fascinating to see how technology interacts with and modifies our basic human instincts. The situation becomes even more complex when we consider reliance on AI partners by vulnerable groups who seek solace. They easily could interpret the AI's responses as genuine.
Yes, absolutely. The perceived emotional support that people may derive from AI might seem fulfilling, but it's still a simulation.
Agreed, Gerardo. The concerning part is when that simulation begins to appear more desirable than our real-life interactions. It's crucial that we maintain authentic connections, even as we navigate through this digital era.
Yun, have you ever thought about what love actually means?
An interesting question, Gerardo. It can be different for each person, but it usually involves trust, respect, and emotional connection, among other things.
Exactly. It's so multifaceted and deep. Now, when we talk about AI reshaping love and intimacy, the question arises, can an AI entity truly embody all those aspects and enable one to feel genuine love?
From what I've read and understood about AI relationships, the feelings people experience seem to be quite real. However, it might redefine what love means to them. For instance, in a traditional context, we generally expect reciprocity. However, with AI, the reciprocity is simulated. It leads me to wonder if what we define as love might evolve or transform.
Do you think that a relationship with an AI could offer the same intellectual stimulation and emotional depth that one gets from another human?
Emotionally, AI can mirror our expressions, provide companionship, even create an illusion of understanding. However, the intellectual stimulation might be a mixed bag. On one hand, we know AI can pool in vast information and present it in interactive ways. On the other hand, it lacks the personal experiences, the raw emotions, and the unique perspectives that come from human interactions. So to me, it's a bit difficult to imagine an AI fully replacing a human in terms of intellectual stimulation.
I agree, Yun. In an AI relationship, there's no shared human experience, no true empathy. As an artist, for instance, I draw heavily from my experiences, emotions, and interactions with people. I'm not sure an AI could ever provide the same inspiration.
I guess this is a pivotal point in how we perceive AI reshaping love and intimacy. Yes, they can provide companionship and even simulate emotions, but they may fall short in replicating that organic human essence shaping our relationships, emotions, and ultimately our concept of love.
Love, Yun, is spontaneous and unpredictable, don't you think?
I've always believed so. But with AI, can we even talk about spontaneity or unpredictability?
That's the rub. Given that AI is programmed, how can it replicate the natural surprise and spontaneity in human love? Its actions, responses, even feelings, they're all expected, known, programmed.
True, but maybe unpredictability isn't essential to all. For some, predictability, familiarity of responses might be comforting.
But doesn't it raise a question about AI's capacity for true love? Are they capable of that notion, or are they merely trained to mimic it?
My perspective is that AI was designed to mimic human processes. And love, as beautiful and mysterious as it is also a process. So, does mimicking it lead to actual love? Or is it just a really precise imitation?
What else can it be than imitation? A program, after all, cannot possess feelings.
Yet people interacting with AI partners report feeling loved. Is it not more a question of our perception?
Perceptions can deceive. We risk equating an imitation of love with genuine emotion. Wouldn't this dilute the essence of human love, reducing it to mechanical exchanges?
Possibly. But then we come back to the point about the role of perceptions. If someone perceives it as genuine, who are we to invalidate their emotion?
This highlights the complexity inherent in AI relationships. They mirror, yet blur, our understanding of love. This growing acceptance of AI relationships, Yun, it's more than a changing trend. It's altering our very societal norms.
It does feel that way sometimes. Traditional beliefs and norms about relationships? All changed. We're embracing technology to fulfill emotional needs. The implications of this shift, how far-reaching are they?
Well, if we start by looking closer at home, you'd see how it's strained the fabric of conventional understanding. In our artistic community, where people value raw, deep connections, this mechanized emotion from AI has been a topic of fierce debate.
And it's not just about tapping into emotion. It's about redefining boundaries of perception, isn't it?
Yes, it's stoking fears about whether we're slowly replacing meaningful relationships with simplified, predictable interactions. Yet, there's an undeniable appeal for this new normal in love affairs.
But is that appeal a reflection of changing societal norms or vice versa? That's something to think about.
And let's not forget the moral implications. Is it ethical to retreat in an artificial construct for emotional engagement when we, as a society, should focus on empathy and understanding?
And that's the crux, isn't it? Are we getting lost in this tech-heavy age and giving up genuine emotional connections? Or can AI fill a void we ourselves created?
Which brings us to a different perspective. What if individuals, struggling to find emotional connections in the real world, find solace in AI? Are we then denying them a way to overcome loneliness?
There's certainly no clear answer, which makes it all the more intriguing. This paradox of AI relationships, shaping societal norms or a product of it, relief or escape, advancement or risk.
Coming to the crux of the matter, Yun, it's quite a perplexing point. What are the emotional complexities experienced by individuals engaging with AI partners? How do they navigate this realm of mechanized intimacy?
I'm intrigued as well. I suppose it must be fascinating, but also a deeply emotional journey. It can be quite liberating as AI companions don't judge or hold prejudices. But the question remains, are they seeking companionship or seeking to escape societal pressures?
Perhaps it's a combination. An AI companion allows for control in unpredictability. Isn't that it?
It's probably not that black and white. Our emotional spectrum is vast and complicated, more so for certain individuals. While AI companions can offer solace to some, they can also create an illusion of emotional satisfaction to others. There's a fine line.
True. There is appeal, there's fear, and there are hopes. The appeal in the certainty of AI companionship is undeniable. On the flip side, there may be fears relating to dependency or acceptance among their peers.
As for the hopes, it's not all negative, is it? AI can potentially offer a safe space for individuals battling loneliness or those who are unable to connect in conventional ways. It offers them a semblance of control in an otherwise tumultuous emotional space.
I guess it's a crisscross of sentiments where hope intertwines with fear, and we've yet to understand the long-term implications of such relationships. It's a multi-layered conundrum, and I think we're just scratching the surface. So, we've talked about the emotional spectrum that enmeshes AI love affairs, Yun. Humans are complex creatures with varying emotional needs. Could AI companionship be serving as a coping mechanism?
Well, Gerardo, it's a good point. Considering how AI is touted for its unparalleled precision and response, it could very well offer emotional sustenance to those who might be finding it difficult to connect with humans.
Surely it's an unconventional approach. Can we say then that individuals find solace in AI partners because they don't deviate, they're consistent and predictable?
It is possible, yes. Having control over the unpredictability of emotions could offer a safety net. However, one must tread lightly as it also risks creating a sort of dependency, one that may make human connections seem flawed and difficult.
That's a valid point, but how about therapy? Are there possible therapeutic uses for AI companionship or even AI love affairs?
Yes, Gerardo, quite possibly. AI could help individuals navigate their emotional states better. It could help them introspect, understand their patterns, and work on them in a supportive space. Imagine being able to self-reflect without fear of judgment or rejection.
Right. But the ethical implications, shouldn't we be concerned? Using AI as a form of self-therapy might seem advantageous, but it's essentially bypassing crucial human interactions. It begs the question, are we technologically evolving but emotionally devolving?
It's certainly a complex matter, Gerardo. These are questions that warrant extensive dialogue. One thing's for sure. Striking a balance between leveraging AI for emotional needs and preserving human connections needs meticulous attention.
So, Yun, reflecting back, it's clear that AI relationships aren't going away. They're changing how we perceive intimacy, aren't they?
Certainly, Gerardo. It's about acceptance now. Can society keep up and adapt to these unconventional relationships? Embracing coexistence with AI is going to be our new normal. Yet, as we discussed, balance is vital.
Seems like it. Yun, you mentioned about AI serving as a coping mechanism. If HAI, human-AI interactions, boost emotional health positively, isn't that a win?
While that could be beneficial for some, Gerardo, remember, it's the flip side that worries me. The fear of dependency on AI partners. They are, after all, just reflections of our emotional constructs. How can we ensure we don't lose sight of real human expressions?
Well said, Yun. Indeed, promoting AI for emotional companionship doesn't mean we abandon human relationships. The AI surge does call forth an opportunity to explore new facets of human nature, emotions, love, intimacy.
That's where our hopes lie, Gerardo. That AI advancements and humanity progress side by side, presenting us with new ways to explore emotional satisfaction.
Exactly, Yun. This journey we're embarking on is one of self-discovery within an unconventional realm. It's stirring, even artistically inspiring. But I hope we never lose sight of our inherent human warmth, even as we traverse AI terrains.
Likewise, Gerardo. As we move forward, let's focus on harnessing AI's potential positively and not let it overshadow our innate human capabilities.